Warning, some of the topics discussed in this video may be sensitive.
Well, everybody, looks like it's about that time again, and today we have a special guest host. We have, as the Raven Dreams, YouTube, a fantastic, phenomenal narrator that I've talked to for, I'd say, since it was about, last year or so?
It has been quite a while, my friend. I would say almost a year, yeah.
Yeah, and that was before, sort of before I did this here with this particular live type style. I think at the time that was just recording some stuff just regularly is not necessarily a podcast, but also just kind of uploading it to YouTube as narration. So in that regard, I am curious, what has changed or grown for you in that, I would say, about a year since?
Honestly, as far as the channel goes, I've changed more from the fiction stuff over to truer stories just because they get a little more traction. Not to say I don't like the fiction stuff, but over the past year, my channel's grown significantly, man. I know you probably know that.
Oh yeah.
You and I talked a lot about that back whenever it was starting to happen. So, yeah, that's really what it is. Just trying to work with the system, make things, what people want, and make it good.
And so, in terms of community growth, so platform-wise, I switched. I had Periscope. I think it was a Periscope. I had Periscope for a little while, and then switched to Instagram TV for a little bit, and then over here to Twitch. And honestly, in that regard, Twitch has been the best in terms of actual community growth. And we talked a little bit about this beforehand, about interacting with people and having sort of a community. Do you find that YouTube just remains your strongest platform in that regard?
I would say yes, just because it's where I started. I have noticed since I started putting my stuff over on Spotify and Apple and Google podcasts through Anchor, it has actually grown significantly in that platform as well. It used to be I would get like one person listening, and now it's almost 20 to 30 per video, or I can't say video because it's audio, but per episode that I put up there. So that's starting to grow, which I understand. Audio is a little... Doing narrations, it's easier to just sit down and listen to your audio without having the video up, and since YouTube won't let you lock your phone with the video running, so yeah. So I'm noticing growth there too, but YouTube is still the primary platform as it is right now.
And we've got a bunch of people here in our chat, as it is. We have Boston actress, Mom B. We've got Black Cat's Poppy, and of course yourself looking in your own chat room. So, I think we're also going to have possibly Tuna stop by, and we have Potato Can Play also stopping by and doing a wave hello. So welcome you all to another 11 p.m. Nightcap, this special lounge around episode with the, what did I call you? The narration powerhouse.
Yeah, that was the description you gave me. I appreciate it though.
So that switch to sort of more of the what would you call it, like true crime, true horror? Like what is that genre, I guess, specifically called? I mean, initially it was more just like narrating horror stories. So like what's that breakdown? Because I would imagine there's people that look for keywords and tags on that.
Yes.
So when you categorize that, what is that?
So whenever I say true stories, I mean like true horror, like kind of like creepy encounters, ghost stories. My biggest releases that I've done have been dark web horror stories, which, funnily enough, are actually from personal experience with people I've worked with. Because I did information security for over 6 years, so I knew people who were very, I'm not gonna say intimate, but intimate with the dark web.
Mm.
Um, so those actually do really well. But so that kind of thing, not like the creepypasta style, but like the just like the true ghost stories, true encounters with cryptids, people, stuff like that. I have done true crime too, and I want to do that more, but
Yeah,
time
you
is
had that
sparse.
series where you're doing like the larger like investigation
Hmm.
kind of pieces. Did that? I mean, did you really get a whole lot of feedback from that, or did you find that that was just like a horrendous amount of work with not much return?
Um, Unfortunately, it was the latter in that case. It was a lot of work, and it wasn't very popular. But the people that enjoyed it really, really enjoyed it.
Yeah,
So I do intend to get it going again. I actually have a secondary channel I've created for it, and I'm going to start doing those again next month because I'm actually going to scale back a little bit on my main channel,
I
going
see.
from 6 videos to 4 videos a week.
Yeah, I thought about so in terms of working for friendship, Boston actress, she's giving me some shit and saying, I followed you from Twitter Live to here to there and everywhere. I've really worked for this friendship, which I appreciate that. I mean, so again, before we went live, we talked about this. We talked about community and how
Mhm.
there's a lot of accounts out there that have huge, like vast, follower lists and huge amounts of people that whether they come in and they don't really say anything or they, I don't want to say drop nonsensical comments, but they're not really there as part of like a group of friends, quote
Right.
unquote. Said in, what has just been absolutely invaluable to me is the support from a group of people that honestly, I mean, they're some of my best friends at this point. You see them and you talk to them now like 5 nights a week, at least for me. Um, Everybody relax. Wild Bill Flint is here.
Nice.
Sorry, Bill. I had to. But um, and so talking about that, you do have sort of the same where you have sort of a close group of people that you look for feedback, quality questions, all that sort of stuff, or do you still sort of feel like as your I don't want to say as your community and your follower count has grown that it's harder to maintain sort of those more intimate friendships?
So I have actually found that yes, there are a few commenters who are consistent, almost commenting on every video, typically stating, like, "Oh, I like this specific story in this video. I thought it was really good," or "You did really good on the emotion of this story," and that has absolutely been invaluable because those people are just fantastic. They're supportive. They'll tell me whenever I screwed up. They're not like gonna bite their tongue kind of thing, and that's what I love. Um, but no, those kind of people are absolutely there and absolutely helpful. Um, I will say there are a handful of comments I randomly get from people I've never seen before, and they don't really. It is nice to see those, but at the same time, they don't really kind of fit into that grouping, right? Um,
Right.
right. But no, so that community absolutely exists on my channel as well.
I mean, we've got, and you'll even see Nightbot occasionally will post it through. I have some of honestly the best episodes, the serious episodes,
Mhm.
were narrated articles by Wild Bill Flint, who comes in here very often to the chat. I'd say almost every day. And some of those stories are fantastic, and not just the stories, but the joking around in the field and the feedback too. I mean, the geez, one of the most harrowing and emotional things I ever read was his 9/11 account. So
Mhm.
um, that also being said, do you have maybe a core select group of people where you actually, I don't want to say kind of feed each other content in that regard, or do you find that you still just mostly pick all that up yourself?
Actually, I will say like there are. a few authors that I have worked with fairly consistently. Sorry about that.
It's all right. It's live. Don't worry about it.
I know. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, um, there are quite a few authors I have worked with fairly consistently, and I actually have playlists of their stuff. I'll shout them out if that's okay.
Do it.
Uh,
Absolutely. Shout them out. Put them in the chat. Whatever you want.
sure. One of them, author, her tag name is Beautiful Nightmare. Her author name is Charlie Blackmore. One of them's PA Nightmares. A lot of people in the community know him. Another one's Ghosting. He and I actually work together a lot, and he and I play The Forest over here on Twitch on Wednesdays too. Um, but like those three specifically are the ones I have probably worked with the most. Um, I've worked with you a few times, obviously. I
Man,
think I have like 3 or 4 stories.
that was still that gave me such a thrill, honestly, to hear your intro. Like you have a great set of graphics, like your production, especially for how much you put out. Your production quality is just phenomenal. Between the
Thank you.
graphics and the title cards and everything else that you put on there, like I seriously am impressed and in awe with the amount of that you do. And so it was so cool to hear you uh, read stories that I wrote out there. That you did the Cigar Goyle double feature, and then I think there was 2 other stories that you sort of narrated separately. And that meant the world to me, honestly. But part of me was like, "Who the fuck am I?" Like, nobody. You have, again, you've got a fairly large following at that point. So I can't thank you enough for that, man. That says a lot.
Of course. Sorry, I actually went and typed Cigar Goyle onto my channel, and Wolf Tiger was 11 months ago. That was the first one I did of yours.
Holy shit!
Right. And that one, I almost want to redo it now that my audience is larger because I loved that story.
Yeah, you want to go ahead and like that being said too, if you ever want to do something like that and rebroadcast it here, you certainly can. We've got a couple comments here in chat. Boston Actress says, "I get harassed by trolls on YouTube, Sir Raven. That's why you don't see me on there anymore. Sorry." Yes, they even troll me when you comment in chats. Just wanted to know I enjoyed your channel. That's fucking horseshit. That pisses me off so much.
I'm sorry
God
about
damn
that.
it.
That people suck.
Potato Can Place. Wolf Tiger was fantastic. Well, thank you so much.
That's my wife,
obviously
by
I
the
really
way.
enjoyed writing the story, but I feel like there's certain voices. Like I obviously have a certain voice, but there's certain characters and parts where I'm just not right, and you were fantastic for that one. Just absolutely perfect.
Thank you. I do appreciate that. And I don't know if you heard me. That's actually my wife. So
Oh,
yeah, it's probably why it's a name you haven't heard before or seen before.
well, hello, as
Patience.
Raven Dreams Potato Patient's wife. Welcome to
Sorry.
the stream. Welcome to the channel. Cheers to you. I also feel like some, I don't want to say like the studio I have now, but I'm sure as time goes on, you have sort of down now, maybe not to a science, but have your setup and everything else that you're just comfortable with, that you just roll with it? Or are you still tweaking some things? Because right now, like there's potential I'm gonna have to move sometime soon, and I'm dreading it because I actually have this set up down here perfectly at this point. It's like I want to touch anything.
Right. Yeah. No. I have definitely gotten it down more. I moved down to the basement instead of being upstairs inside the closet. Um,
That's where I
I
was at.
Yeah, that's where I started, and I had to move because during the summer it got really, really hot up there. So I couldn't shut the door, which would cause sound issues. So I ended up moving down to the basement. I hung blankets, kind of like how you have behind you. Um, and then I have some acoustic foam on the wall in front of me. So I face towards the corner where the foam is, and I think I've got it down, and it works well. Um, as far as like doing the tech side of things, I still tweak things every once in a while, but I'm mostly consistent on what I do. I think I've gotten it down somewhat.
I mean, I don't ever hear any echo. I mean, your
Mhm.
sound is always about as clear as can be. I mean, there's no hiss, there's no reverb, there's no nothing. I mean, unless you were going to listen to it on the world's greatest audiophile equipment. I
Right.
mean, the sound quality is spectacular.
Right.
And so Boston Actress is laughing and saying, she says, I remember that. And I did the same thing. It was in the closet, and I tried to put these acoustic panels in there, and got sweating my ass off in there, and I'm like bumping into the walls. I was like hurt my back and my neck because I had to contort myself in there. And honestly, the sound quality wasn't great. I'd get this weird phantom feedback from sitting in
Mm-hmm.
there. I don't know what the hell was causing that. It was really bizarre.
Yeah, that is weird.
And so, yeah, moving down here and sort of setting up this little blanket cave.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of a loudmouth piece of shit. So when I get really loud, so I did a voice acting test, and I was so loud I could hear my voice like echoing and vibrating in the rest of my house. I'm like, oh God, I hope the fucking microphone doesn't pick that up. Have you had any gaffes like that where you got to the end of recording something and then went, and then you had to go back and like do it all over again?
Yes. So there was one where I recorded an entire, let's go with 40-minute story. I think it was about that long. I did the whole thing, and then I did my macro, which kind of does like the bass boosting and so forth and so on. And then I unplugged my headphones from my mic and plugged into my computer, and I didn't turn off the fan that was in the room, and it was terrible. I had to redo the whole thing. Bec- yeah, it's one of those things like I just wasn't thinking about it, and then I go to listen, and you just hear every time, because like it would do auto ducking, so every time I would talk, you'd hear a in the background, and it was just so bad. I'm like, no. So I've done that, um, and it was terrible, and I hope it never happens again.
So I had uh, used to, with the one broadcast software that I used to use to try to do these, I'll call them lounge around, these interview style broadcasts, you would get this occasional feedback. I don't know. I still to this day don't know what the hell was causing it, but
Oh yeah,
my
because
voice would suddenly spike like I had the fucking microphone in my mouth going, and it was it was deafeningly loud. I don't know what in the F was caused by that. And it was just terrible. It was absolutely terrible. And so then somebody made a clip on my channel to show me, hey, here's what this sounds like, here's what we're hearing, which I appreciated. But I forgot that clip was up there. So then I went into another channel, and they're like, oh, hey, give Cigar Girl a shout out. And it randomly picks that clip with this and blows everybody's eardrums out on the stream. I'm like,
oh man,
well, not getting any followers from that shout out because that was dog shit.
hey, check out this channel, and the quality, yeah, just absolute amateur quality. That sucks. That's terrible. And of course, that would be how it works out. I was actually gonna say I kind of remember that because I think way back I tried to help you out on I think your first one where you had the dual channel call going on,
Yeah, it was
and
bad.
it was. I tried. I know you tried too. It wasn't gonna work.
There wasn't really a whole hell of a lot, honestly, that you could do with it. I mean, as I've told people in the past, if it's not live and you have things separated into two channels and you want to boost audio on one side, that's not so bad. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're too loud and you blow out the EQ, you're pretty much just fucked. Like, there's nothing you
Yep.
can really do with that. I mean, you can make it quieter, but then you just have a quieter, muffled.
Yeah.
Bill says, it is startling to me what mics pick up.
Oh
And
yeah.
and the danger to that is, and I demonstrated this, I don't know if you've had any of this happen to you either, but when I've used my phone or I've used like the other tablet, the technology they have in there for the mics like has such an aggressive auto gain because they assume you're using it for a business call in some
Mm-hmm.
conference room, whatever. Yeah, it'll occasionally like super auto gain you to the point where you better not whisper something like, God, this fucking sucks. Because suddenly it's like, what was that? I didn't say anything. So I don't know if you've ever had anything like that where you've picked up stuff like that. Whether it was a fan or horns honking or planes. Some of those ASMR bloopers are hilarious. We'll play them after the fact, and
Yeah.
you hear like a plane in the background or somebody cutting their grass, and you're like, "Well, that's fucking wrecked." Like,
The main thing I always pick up is the bell on my cat's collar.
aw.
'Cause I'll be in the middle of talking and he'll go to scratch and you just hear this jingling in the background. I'm like, no, I have to redo that part now. Yeah, that's that thing because thankfully down here in the basement there's no real sound going on. And I'm nowhere near a window, so I'm lucky in that regard. The closet was not ideal because I would pick up the fan if you went into the bathroom. Yeah, like the vent fan. So, but
The whispering in the closet. The whispering in the closet sounds like an H.P. Lovecraft story.
it kind of does.
We have Tuna joining us now. Says, "Caca."
Oh jeez.
And then Bill says, I used to surreptitiously record bar conversations. It was amazing what came off the recording. Yeah,
Nice.
I had this noisy-ass brewery that I was in and recorded a conversation with a friend of mine. And that place it's pretty much an acoustic nightmare. I mean, it's loud as hell when you're in there and you can barely hear the person next to you. But having this phone on and basically just pointing the microphone towards her, the sound isolation in it was so good. You could hear her clear as a bell. I was absolutely
Nice.
blown away by that. It was amazing, the quality of everything else that it picked up. I'm thinking in the past that would have just sounded like somebody ripping farts into the microphone, just a complete shit mess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And sorry, if I may, I apologize. Patience put the whisper in the closet, and I realize now what she was talking about. I had a live stream at one point in time, and it was creepy because my mom actually pointed out to me that at one point I wasn't talking, but there was a really weird whispering going on, and I never figured out what it was. It sounded like a person whispering, and it was not me. And it wasn't the music, it was this weird whispering. So that's what she was referring to. I'll have to send you the link to the live stream if I can remember it later, because I have a timestamp for it, because it was creepy.
It is fucking
Like
creepy.
I'm not one much for like ghosts. I mean, I tell the stories and I have my thoughts on it, but I'm not one for having any experiences like that. But that actually scared me.
That's one of those where you just go, what the fuck?
Yeah, kind of.
Boston Actress loves that. She says, oh, hell no. Well,
Right.
Boston Actress, that's less scary than the thing that lives under your bed. So, anyway. Tuna.
Love it.
A long time ago, I lived, I still lived at home, and it was just me and my dad. And we had this electric buzzing, humming sound that almost sounded like it had a voice in it. And it would start at like midnight, just like 12:15. And you'd hear it and we'd be like, what in the hell is that? And you would walk around and it seriously sounded like it was like disembodied acoustics. So like if you were in the room, like you could hear it and you'd be like, it's clearly coming. Like you can follow it, and then you'd get to the point where you're like, the source of the sound is right here, but there's nothing there. And you could walk around it, and you're like, it's like a spot in space where the sound was coming from. We're like, what in the fuck is that? And that went on for a couple of weeks, and then just vanished. Still to this day, have no clue what the hell that was or where that came from.
Strange Lovecraftian rift going on.
Seriously. And we used to get stuff like that too, up north by the Great Lakes, where you'd occasionally get some bizarre sounds like that, especially at night. And I don't know if that's like acoustics that somehow do some strange bouncing off the water and clouds and whatever. But every now and then you'd hear stuff and you're like, what in the hell is that? Like, again, disembodied, like knocking and like weird sounds. It's pitch black up there too, so it's creepy as all hell.
Yeah.
So have you had any other, I don't want to say supernatural experiences of anything like that, whether that's audio or video or anything like that?
Unfortunately or fortunately, no. That's pretty much been the only thing. And it's minor, thankfully. Uh, yeah, I actually haven't. I know my parents have because they've told me the stories. My grandmother's house is apparently haunted, but
Ew.
I haven't experienced anything else.
We have a weird response from Black Cat's Poppy, who then says, "You hear stories of entire towns that hear weird noises and they don't know where it's coming from."
Hmm.
Yeah, like have you ever heard of the Taos hum?
I think I have. Is that the yeah? Is that the one where, like, there's several videos of this guy just making this weird humming noise? Basically, it's like a low pitched.
Yeah, it almost sounds like a diesel motor. And it's this very unsettling low frequency. And some people around Taos, New Mexico,
Okay.
reported hearing this sound. And people who would go in to get hearing tests, and their hearing was fine, this and that and the other,
Hmm.
like not bonked on the head, no accidents, nothing like that. And they would intermittently hear this humming sound. And the one woman heard it so much to the point where she couldn't sleep. She started getting super sick and ill. And it was another thing where then it would vanish. And then they'd have like a moment of peace for a few days and then it would come back. And they had no idea like where the hell that shit came from. And as far as I know, they still don't know. The only theory that I heard is that it's from some radio antenna battery that's sort of out there in this desert area. But it's one of those things where a bunch of people have heard it to the point where it's made them physically ill. And that sort of shit to me is creepy.
Yeah, that's terrifying. Yeah, no, I've seen the video. I've seen videos of people like recording, and it's just like, where is that coming from? It's just weird humming sound. I guess it was that. Because yeah, that's the big one that I can see here that I'm looking. So, and according to this page, they still haven't figured out, like you said. So that's interesting. That's actually kind of terrifying. In today's day and age, we can't figure out where sound is coming from. That's
I hate that. I
right.
hate it.
It's yeah.
We got some comments here. So earlier on, Bill said, "Yeah, my house is riddled with lots of fun like that." Oh, I want to hear about all that. You got to write some of those down. I want to know what sort of creepy shit happens in your house. Um, Black Cat says there's lots of weird, great stuff in New Mexico. And then, hail the villainous! Subscribe to Tier 1. Subscribe for 3 months with spoopy noises.
All right.
Sorry about that.
No, I
But
dig
thank
it.
you so much, Villainous. I really appreciate that. Boston Actress then comments, "That would freak me out. Nope, I watch way too much horror and true crime. I'd move. I'm out of here. I hear weird sounds. I'm leaving." Like, dude, it's the freeway. Fucking, what the fuck? You live in Boston. You have to hear all sorts of weird shit. I mean, you guys, everything you pronounce has like 7 extra H's on the end of it. Um, Bill says, "Wow, happens in a bunch of places." I guess that's in regards to that humming sound.
Hmm.
Then we've got Boston Actress says, "I guess she wouldn't have to unpack. When you experience a haunting, it's not as scary as you expect. It just seems natural." I don't know, Black Cats. That shit still fucking spooks the hell out of me. Villainous, you're very welcome for the shout out. Thank you so much for the sub. Bill then says, "It's not cohesive enough to put voices to put together yet, but the voices." Yeah. What do they tell you, Bill? Do they tell you anything? Like, can you hear stuff, or is it just like words, or is it just sounds? We'll see what he says.
You may not want to know.
He's like, they tell him it's like some drunken New York dude. "Hey, no, the last time that I went down to the corner store."
Oh man, that'd be
Hail the
great.
Villainous. "I grew up in an antebellum house with a secret passage to an underground railroad."
Interesting.
Holy shit! Was there any like weird stuff that you experienced as a result? There's a record label called the Taos Hum. That's bullshit.
Of course there is.
Damn it.
Corporations got to ruin everything.
Bill says, nah, the voices in my head scare the ghosts away. Have you gotten any stories submitted to you where you were like, nope, not reading and narrating that one?
Um, so the stories I've had submitted to me, no. But there was one author I worked with, and I read one of his stories because it was really good. And then he had actually submitted a story to another narrator I work with, TDN Horror Stories, and this guy, he was gonna send it to me too, but I'm like, yeah, no, because it involved topics I'm not going to talk about on the stream. And it was one of those things where it's like he wanted to make a really weird story, and yes, it was weird, but no.
That's a big
Um,
yikes.
yeah. So I'll get into the basics. I won't get into the details. The basics of the story was it was a virus like COVID, except it was the opposite. Everyone had to be super close instead of far away to not get infected, and he just took it to places it didn't need to go. So
Ugh.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I'm all
that sounds like a great way to get yourself banned, blacklisted, or put on an FBI watch list.
right, and like I'm all about artistic freedom, fine, but it just you know if you want to write that, don't expect others to want to be a part of it, kind of thing.
Bill says, that sounds like Tumblr bait. uh, Boston Extra says, but no.
Exactly.
So we got a comment here from Hail of Villainous. This sounds pretty creepy. Yes, always running up and down the secret staircase. Water in the house would turn off and on by itself, and sometimes crying came from the attic. It was weird. Yeah, no thanks.
That'd creep me out.
No thanks, I'm good. Especially the crying.
Yeah. No.
Maybe the water turning on off by itself, because I could just go, well, it's old pipes. Water pressure, rotation of the earth. But hearing phantom crying, yeah, I'll take a pass on that. Do you have any sound, like, I don't want to say like sound rage, but do you have any sounds like that you that either just creep you out or just, it's like nails up the back of your spine when you hear them?
I probably do. I am. I don't know. I can't remember the word, but like I do have a weird sensitivity to certain words that just get on my nerves. Like the word dish for some reason bothers me. I'm one of those weird people.
What?
As far as like sounds go, I don't know if there's any that really bother me that much, but I know it's weird. I don't know why. It's just certain words, whenever people say them, I'm like, why are you using that word? Use something else. And I don't know why. Because there's not really there's no synonyms for the words that I don't like.
It's a plate. It's a plate. Say plate, please.
Right. I know that's weird. It's
you go to a restaurant and you get all irate with the dude. Well, sir, tonight we have this particular... Don't say it! Don't say that word! Plate. It's a plate.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure there's a word for it. I just don't know what it is. Crazy, I guess.
Crazy. I mean, possibly, but whatever. Trust me, I have mine that drive me up a wall. Hail the Villain says, the running in the secret stairway was the worst, especially when you were a kid home alone.
Yeah.
Ooh, yeah.
No thanks. No thanks.
But Boston Actress likes that. She's like, secret stairway? What? Now you're talking. She can't wait. Is that the first thing you're going to do, Boston Actress, when you buy a new house, is get a secret staircase installed? And then Black Cat's Poppy will probably creep in there and she'll start running around on it. Your parents' closet had a fake wall that led to the underground railroad tunnel. That's spooky. How far did that go? Let's see what she says. So, do you have any other big projects, anything special coming up that you're looking to create? Anything new, anything exciting, any teasers you'd like to maybe sort of entice people with?
Like I said earlier, the main thing that I'm wanting to focus on next month, whenever I cut back some, is that Raven Investigate series. I want to do more than just cold cases. I kind of want to explore like recently solved cases, missing people, oddities, things like one of my oddities I wrote down is the Marianas web, which is supposed to be a dark web that's deeper than the dark web kind of thing. So really, I guess if I wanted to plug anything, it would be that. I'm really wanting to push more into the investigative series and that kind of thing. And hopefully next month will actually be the month it happens.
When you get that stuff, tag me in or whatever so I
Sure.
can retweet that, whatever. I mean,
Sure.
that I still, like I say, I think you did a fantastic job with some of those investigations. So I feel like when you get back to that, that's a super cool thing to listen to. In terms of just like neat quality content, I think that stuff is cool, and you did such a great job.
Yeah, I think it needs to be on its own channel in the end. After I did it for I think like 10 episodes, I kind of started thinking about it and just like it didn't feel right putting those kinds of things with, scary stories.
Mm.
Like it was something I wanted to do, but I didn't having that surrounded by like a creepypasta and then true ghost stories just kind of felt almost disrespectful in my head.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to be moving it over to its own place.
I mean, I feel like that's solid in regards to as well. Some people who might just go, I don't really care to listen to that. I'm here for the creepy pasta stories. Like, all right, well then follow that channel and not this one. So
Right.
um,
Exactly.
we have some other comments here. Hail of Villainous said that the secret passage led to her aunt's house next door to another tunnel that was walled off. Boston Actress loves secret room videos when people find them in a home they bought. Except I've known a couple people who've had those that were not so great.
Yeah.
Black Cat says maybe it's good. People are escaping to freedom. Tuna's playing some sky trumpets. Hail the Villain says those webs are freaky. No playing around there. Boston Actress asks, Raven, any interest in uploading to Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, I actually
And
responded.
He says,
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I actually commented in there. My stuff is on Apple Podcasts.
there it is.
It's on Google and Apple and Spotify and all that. Yeah, I'll have to get. I will get her the link.
Yeah,
Or
if
I'll
you
get
want
you the
to,
link.
drop some links in there. Hail the Villainous says, yes, because Illinois was a free state and Missouri wasn't. My town is right across the river from St. Louis. It was a big abolitionist area. That's a hotbed area. They the areas where they have stuff like that, I imagine, have all sorts of, I don't want to say supernatural, but like talk about just a brutal piece of history. The stuff that went on there. They not in that regard, but here in Michigan, up in some of the northern parts of the state, some horrendous amounts of violence between both Indians and people coming over who were interested in the logging industry, and people getting crushed and just decimated, thrown in the rivers, just a whole lot of death and violence up there. And apparently there's a lot of places that are haunted by some very, very unfriendly concentrations of energy. Pretty spooky stuff. Boston Actress says, see rooms without bodies. So, oh, wait a minute. Tuna says, no. Look up sky trumpets. It's a creepy phenomenon. Huh.
Noted. That maybe I'll do an investigative episode on that.
On creepy sky trumpets?
I mean, if it's creepy enough.
Here's
Updated list of trumpet sounds in the sky. Oh, there's actually a website for this.
Oh, look at that. Here's the interesting thing, or sort of neat thing, is that the way that I have this set up now, and I don't know if you're watching my screen as well, but
Oh, that was cool.
I have the ability to go through and look at this sky trumpets. I'm just going to say it was ball lightning or the hum. It's probably meant. Yeah, this looks like this could be something super cool to go through and look at.
Yeah, I ended up on a website called strangesounds.org.
Huh. It's
They had
just
a whole section on it.
It's just a bunch of moaning. Oh. Oh.
Well, no.
Here we go.
They have a whole section for it, but
Let's see what this one is. Sounds like me after eating conies.
these might actually be what I was thinking of whenever I mentioned hearing the weird sky sounds. Yeah, no, that's just cool.
Oh, you
They're
motherfucker. Well, it was somebody moving a dumpster. The guy cuts to the end of it. Wah, wah. What a bamboozle. Um,
jeez.
so let's see. Did we do one on the bloop? Hail the Venus, what is the bloop? Do you know what the bloop is, Mr. Raven?
Um, no, apparently not. Can't think of it.
I mean, I know what the boop is. That's when you have like a kitty cat and if you're sleeping, you go boop. And then they do that like, put their ears back. Like, what are you fucking touching me for? I know that. But yeah, it sounded like somebody moving a dumpster. That was somebody clearly moving a dumpster. Black Cat says, oh yeah, somebody's going berserk about sky trumpets on next door. She was freaking me out because she said she saw archangels at her window end times. Are you sure that wasn't just a peeping Tom? That wasn't just a dude airing his privates out? The old horn dog? The old peeping Thomas? Hail the Villainous does have some cool cave cavern videos. Did you... So... If you could get the resources to investigate something, like you had a team of researchers or whatever, what would you investigate? Like if you could really dig into something, access to records, whatever it is.
I think I'd actually like to dig into a lot of local cold cases, honestly. I don't know how many there are, but I know there are some. There's actually one that was someone who was obviously murdered in a cold case that's like less than 20 minutes from where I live, um, over in the town where my mom lives, which is like her husband sent me a bunch of information on it. I think that would be really cool to just do like an entire segment or series on local cases that have gone cold. Um, just because it would be kind of neat if I could actually get them solved some way, shape, or form. I don't know if I'd ever be able to, but um, I
Well,
think that'd be really cool.
even if it wasn't, maybe even if it's not solved, maybe just some other piece to get them. I don't want to say like revitalized or whatever, but if you had enough, sort of like the was it America's Most Wanted or the,
Yeah,
like, hey, maybe somebody else knows something, right?
yeah, get them back in the limelight, kind of thing. People
Right.
looking at them
I got to do a
because it
shout
is.
out here.
Yeah,
Monkey
sure.
Nip says, "Yo, what up?" Subscribe for 3 months, Mr. Monkey Nips. Thank you so much, dude. Haven't seen you around in a little while. Always good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by. We are talking to the narration powerhouse. Powerhouse. As Raven Dreams. Make sure you drop him a follow at his YouTube channel. Here, we drop that into ye old chatto. Bloop. School's kicking his ass. Yeah, I mean, everybody's busy. Villainous, I know you've been busy. I've been busy. It's a lot of busy. So, in terms of local cases, do you have any local case or mystery or anything like that that really stands out to you as being like a major, they still don't know what happened kind of thing?
Well, yeah, like I said, there's the one cold case that's over in Spring Hill where my mom lives. I can't remember the person's name, which is really sad, but I have all the information that he sent me saved. Um, so that really would stand out to me. And I was just kind of thinking about it. Like, I know it's more into the paranormal side of things, but there is a place in the Kansas City area called Sauer Castle. That's Sauer, that has a really interesting history, and I would love to be able to go in there and kind of learn some of the stuff about that.
Mm,
Because I know that's more paranormal investigative, not really cold case stuff, but
right.
I think it'd still be kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of feel like whether it's supernatural or real or whatever,
Right.
for me, like, there's a certain voyeuristic bent of investigating or looking at a thing, looking into
Right.
something like that, where, there's that little bit of a thrill of uncovering, sort of that breaking through the mundane veil of just regular day-to-day life.
Yeah. I can believe
Have
it.
you ever thought about visiting Now, this, I don't want to turn you off or anything by saying this, but have you ever thought about visiting like murder houses or sites like that, just to see if there's any, whether it's, whether doing research or looking at stuff like that? Do you have any interest in doing anything like that or no?
I think it'd be interesting. Um, I would love to do so in a manner that would be like respectful, obviously, to those who lost their lives there, but it would
Right.
definitely be interesting. Um, yeah, absolutely. If I ever had the chance, that would be something I would. Yeah, I mean, why not? It's yeah.
We tracked down, we went to the neighborhood and the house where supposedly Jimmy Hoffa was killed.
Hmm.
Um, and there was just something about it, about being there and looking at it, and just, it kind of sent chills up my spine. And it sort of, the unknown, the guy says what they did, there's no real proof of it, but when you looked at the area and you looked at the roads and everything
Hmm.
else, there was very much yeah, I could totally see how you could do this. And so I feel
Right.
like if you had some pictures or video and you talked about it, that some people might find that sort of a thing kind of interesting. You're not really
Hmm.
intruding on anything. You're just showing a perspective from the street of something that if you are not physically present in the area that you're probably not going to get.
Right.
Hail the Villainous says the Villarreal X murder house looks insane. Well, that's another one you should copy and stick in your pocket there, Mr. Raven. That
That
sounds like
sounds
a.
interesting too.
Anyone
Let
else
me
have any
contact.
questions for either of us, I guess, while we're on here chatting? And make sure you check out the YouTube channel for As the Raven Dreams, and also RavensDreamYT on Twitter, so you can get the latest and hottest information on all of his episodes and broadcasts. And you also now do that on Instagram as well, correct?
Yeah, same username as Twitter. RavensDreamYT.
Nice. Have
Yep,
you
yep.
ever thought about too, and I don't know quite how you would do this, but I'm almost wondering too if broadcasting that to Instagram's live TV, if that would actually be conducive. There is a strangely large horror community on Instagram. I know
Yeah,
when I did a couple of talks with some people specifically about horror, I actually had a lot of people that watched. Again, it's the sort of weird thing with Instagram. I feel like it's more of a voyeuristic site than it is for chat feedback, but might
hmm
not be, might be something to maybe look into. In that regard, there's a big community on there.
yeah, it's definitely something I should probably check out. I've actually been told it's decent by a few people that are in the horror community. I could probably increase the following some and get some more followers and people that are interested. I should probably check that out.
Mama B says, "I'm just over here thinking of stories I want him to look into, like the Gaffney. Wait, like the Gaffney Strangler. Lol. Why would you lol the Gaffney Strangler? Sounds terrible. The serial killer from the last place I lived. Lol. Ha! Fucking hilarious. Ha! Serial killers? Fucking laugh riot. Cause Gaffney.
Fair enough.
Um, Tuna lives 2 minutes from Zelensky's Hugo Zelensky's murder house. And then Robert the Doll and Key West. See, all you got to do if you're ever starving for content is just come on here and ask the chat. Hey, what do you want this guy to look into? Look, you got all this, all this free stuff to look into.
I mean, if anyone wants to like message me on Twitter with some suggestions, I'll take it.
You can also just do a Control A and just copy this whole entire chat
Right.
transcript. I've done that too. Um, the town is legit known for its fuggin' water tower. It's a giant peach that looks like a giant red ass. Lamafo. Look up Gaffney, South Carolina. $10 a pick of the peachoid is the first thing that shows. I mean, you could get a free $10. Should I look that up?
I mean, are you willing to lose $10 if it is? That's the only thing.
I mean, not really.
So I looked up Gaffney, South Carolina on DuckDuckGo, and the first thing was not the peach.
Oh, busted.
First thing is downtown off of Frederick Street on Wikipedia. The peach is the third image that came
Broken.
up.
Absolutely broken.
Sorry.
This
Not trying to like
this is the
be
other part
challenging.
that I love about some of this live stuff is just
Oh,
the banter and the friendly like jive like ribbing each other
mhm.
the some of the hardest that I've laughed has been, and that I can remember in recent memory at all, has just been stuff like this in the chat. Just hilarious. Have you had any interactions like that with people in your, whether it's in your chat or anything like that, where you just absolutely just laughed your ass off?
Yeah. So I don't know if you know this. Every Sunday morning, nowadays I do a coffee stream. So I get up about 8 o'clock, get on live 8:30 a.m. And it's actually been really good. Some of those people that come in the morning, since they're all very tired, uh, make some of the best and most candid jokes that they can. Like they have no filter because they don't have the caffeine yet. So
Right?
that's been a good time. That happens a lot actually. So sorry to say this, but you and me kind of feel like the opposites. You do this late night stuff. I'm more of a morning person.
Morning for me, like I feel like it should be against the law for anybody to get up like before 9:30.
Oh man, I'm up at like 6 every morning.
Oh God.
Right. Yeah, I know.
That's a horror story. You want to talk about some creepy pasta? Let's talk about having to get up early. Oh.
I woke up every day at 6.
Oh my God.
What happened you'll never expect.
I had to go to work. No. Dun, dun, dun.
Love it.
We have I don't know if you're watching this chat, but we got some
I am.
weird stuff going on in the chat. Don't get me started. I knew a guy in Colorado Springs that murdered someone. He used someone else's car. They finally got it back. The back seat was gone, but there were still blood stains everywhere. Yee.
Oh, lovely.
Boston actress. Someone on Twitter that follows me was Miss John Wayne Gacy's attorney. Holy shit. You were posting about it and they messaged you. Fuck that. God damn. Bill pipes in with, hold on. Ribbing each other for her pleasure. Bill hates when I talk like that. Imagine being married to a serial killer. One of the only survivors of Waco follows me. Black Cat's Poppy says, what the fuck?
There were survivors of Waco?
I didn't think anybody survived. Black
That's
Cat, how do
interesting.
you know? Did they just say, hey, hi, dropping you a follow. I survived Waco. I mean, do they have like a shirt that just says like,
Oh,
I
that's bad.
survived Waco. That's like,
And all,
I survived the Double Dipper roller coaster.
and all I got was the stupid T-shirt. I'm sorry. Like, that's a bad joke, but
I survived Waco, and all I got was this T-shirt.
Jeez. Oh, that's bad. That's bad.
Hail the Villain says I have to be work at 6, and sometimes on job sites even earlier. That is, no. I hate it. Fucking disgusting. I hate it. Did you ever have did you ever have a job shift that put you at weird hours? And I'm not saying like just like 6 o'clock, or something like really crazy hours. And if so, did you ever see anything weird?
Um, Most of my career has been office jobs, so it's pretty much been close to a 9 to 5. So unfortunately, not.
Mm.
Um, the only the weirdest thing I ever saw on a job was whenever I worked at a call center. On some Sundays, I had to work till 10:30, and I once saw a guy scream at a customer and throw his like headphone across the or headset across the room and leave. That was kind of interesting.
That's kind of I mean, yeah,
I know. It's kind of a dream come true for call center workers, but it shouldn't have happened.
right. I
But no.
we have a call center that's like that downtown, but it doesn't
Mhm.
it's not up like that crazy early. But the things that we had that were weird in terms of job work was obviously like tech stuff. Like we had all these problems with the internet downtown in the city and couldn't figure out what in the fuck was wrong with it. Kept looking at it, looking at routers, replacing all this stuff. They finally send out this other tech, and he comes in and he starts following the lines around, and he goes, wait a minute, I'm really confused. The line that goes down here into the basement, like I'm following it, and there's this little junction box that goes in here, but like I unscrewed it and I took it apart, and like the line doesn't connect there. It disappears through this other connector and basically goes down through the wall. We're like, so where is this coming from? He goes, I don't know. So
All right, then.
he has to get this other permit to basically tear down this piece of wall, goes down there and looking in there. And they find out that it's in some like half walled up little crawl space that's full of fucking water. So all of the internet lines are sitting in this whole fetid crud water, and that's why our internet keeps dropping out.
So I have a story kind of similar to that. It's one of those techie stories that was made you smack your head. I remember whenever I worked at the last place I worked, it was e-government, so we ran state websites like Kansas.gov, that kind of stuff. We had one of our servers in one of our data centers that was just pushing tons of traffic, and on the security team, the meeting basically was saying, "Hey, this system has malware. We need to get it isolated and get it off the network because we did, like I said, payment processing for states." So we got it all isolated, and basically what they found was one of our IT guys was trying to run as a Bitcoin miner, and it's just like the CSO was like, "Why are you trying to run a server on a government data center as a Bitcoin miner? You idiot! Get out of here! You're fired."
Oh my god!
Right? It was just so stupid.
What? It's just a server.
Well, his excuse was he thought he was on his own VPN when he did it. Like, really? You were still using the server.
That's where you want to have that GIF of that guy doing the blink.
Yes.
What the fuck? All right, I had to turn slow mode on because we had chat flying by. I wanted to catch up a little bit. Black Cat. Yes, I work 3 days a week, 4 in the afternoon to 6 in the morning. Boston actress. Barf emoji. Hell villainous. Almost got attacked by a Black Panther on a job site on a mountainside in VA. Oh, for a minute I was like, what kind of Black Panther? Like a militant person or an animal? Sounds like an animal. I got attacked by one when I lived in Mongolia for 6 months. What the fuck? A Black Panther? Oh, hell no. Hearing that thing growl turned my blood cold. I can't imagine that. That is spookier than shit. A snow leopard, a big cat. That's crazy. Then Black Cat. There was an escaped prisoner nearby, murdered people in Left-Hand Canyon near Boulder. His name was Michael Bell. I was alone and scared shitless. At the time, I was on the edge of civilization. Police came in and checked around. I had to call my boss to prove I worked there.
Huh.
What the fuck? Tuna can put up and tear down a ute in like 10 minutes flat. A ute or a yurt? Hell Villain says, I'd be leaving with the cops. Sure. Totally looking to the Black Cat. That's a new one for me. Yes, look up Michael Bell, Boulder, Left-Hand Canyon. Well, there you go. There's another story you could look into and report on. And then we have, what's a ute? Fred Gwynn. Yes, he's the two utes. I'm sorry. The two youths. All right, turning slow mode back off. So in terms of I had an episode on upgrades. In terms of upgrades for your equipment, channel, programming, anything, what would you say is your biggest upgrade in terms of producing your content that you've done over? other than moving from out of a closet into the
Mhm.
basement, like have you done anything with a new microphone or new software, macros, anything like that?
So yeah, the main thing was moving from a Blue Snowball, which is a decent mic, to my Blue Yeti.
Mm,
Having the monitor port, so I can actually have my earphones in and hear myself talking, just makes a ton of difference. Um, and I also actually invested in a stage microphone stand that connects to the microphone, so it's no longer sitting on a desk.
nice.
Because my really old stuff, I used to have it sitting basically on like a TV tray,
Mm.
and every once in a while I would hit it, and you would hear the bass in the
Bong,
audio. Yeah, that.
bong.
So that can't happen anymore because it's on a stabilizer on the stand, and I can't really make it make any
Nice.
noise anymore. So
Really nice. What
yeah.
about like software wise? Have you picked up any new techniques there at all?
Surprisingly, all the software I actually use is the same. Um, I'm a kind of a Linux nerd, so I use a lot of free open source stuff. My visuals are all done in GIMP. My audio is all done in Audacity. My actual videos are made in Vegas 15, which is not the best software in the world. Um, but like as far as processes, I've definitely improved. I've kind of gotten it to where I almost hit autopilot mode now.
Nice.
I put the stuff together and it just kind of works. And then by the time I'm done, I'm like, and render, and I'm going upstairs.
Nice, nice. I can't
Yeah.
quite with this particular program. I can't quite get to that level yet with the broadcasting, the podcast, and all that. I imagine I probably could, but for that, I still use the tablet or the phone to basically record that as a second microphone because it's really easy to upload that at that point to Anchor, and it's easier to stitch all that together, honestly, on their phone app than it is on their website. But then their phone app has a bug where putting in the descriptions of the episodes mashes all the text together and makes a mess. So I have to
Mhm.
do that on the website. But I've gotten that down to where a normal regular episode and doing that, it only takes me 5-10 minutes now to get that together. It used to take some time to get all that together.
Nice. Yeah. Processes are definitely one of those things like which consistently improve.
Right. Hail the Villainous comments. We worked by droplight building condos on a mountainside in the middle of the night. The bricklayers warned us that they saw a panther at the edge of the woods. We thought they were messing with us because we're alone there at night. Nope. Holy shit. Mama B says, retire GIMP. Get Autodesk Sketchbook. It's free and an amazing program. But you have Autodesk Sketchbook on your Samsung tablet, but
Hmm.
use GIMP to actually put together your thumbnails. Mama
Yeah.
B says, do most of mine on Sketchbook. I'm obsessed with it. Black Cat. I'll try and look up that Colorado Springs thing over the weekend. That was late 70s, so the details are sketchy. Um, yeah, I use Audacity really for most of my audio editing, but I still am not very good at like I'm certainly I'm not completely ignorant of how to do some audio editing, but when I get into some of the more complicated problems, I'm not
Yeah.
very good at that. But the graphics wise, I still primarily use Paint.net for most of mine, but I don't
Yeah.
do too much crazy shit with images much anymore. I mean, most of the stuff I grab now either other people who have way better art skills than me, like my drawing stream yesterday's evidence.
Yeah.
d-
No, I sorry.
no, do you go ahead? Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say like I the reason I use GIMP is because it has a plugin set called Gmic, which in my opinion puts it right on par with Adobe's Photoshop, and I have really started just messing around with the parts of that. So that's why I still use that.
I mean, that's not any sort of slouch in terms of software. I mean,
Sure.
that's massive. I mean, there's a massive community and plugin base and everything for that.
Hmm.
Um, we have Boston actress is get, so Raven. Do you want to? Boston actress is yawning. You want to soothe her to sleep?
I I don't know what to say.
Here's what you say, and you can repeat after me.
Okay.
As we say at the end of all these episodes, stay safe, keep the faith, and all of that good shit. and get yourself some rest out there.
As we say it, what was it again? I have the memory of a caterpillar. As we say at the end of all these
Now, wait a
episodes.
minute. You should have said I have the memory of a bird. It's Raven's Dreams. Caterpillar.
Yeah, but ravens have good memory.
This is true. They're very smart. I bet you
I got
any money
most-
Black
I
Cats
remember
has
most
all
of it.
sorts of stories about ravens and crows.
Yeah.
Hail Villainous
Ravens are
says,
cool.
jammies. But it is past the midnight hour, and
Yeah. That's
we
right, you're
should
East Coast.
probably wrap this up. And I can't thank you enough for stopping by, man.
Of course, man.
You know, I have a much better, much easier setup for doing this now. So if you ever want to come back and you ever want to do anything like this again, or I don't know, whatever, man, collaborate, host, have fun. This stuff is a blast. It's honestly what brings me the biggest amount of happiness now, especially since everything's still locked up. But this is where I get all my fun.
Yeah, man. Literally, just send me a message anytime. This is awesome. I am very honored that you had me on again, and literally anytime you want me here, just let me know.
We'll do it, man. We will absolutely do it. Maybe we can have a story that we sort of I don't know, investigate or talk about or something.
Sure.
Maybe next time. Hail the Villainous. She never gets to stay up late. Oh, that sucks.
I'm sorry.
You know, I've thought about doing some of these earlier too, but it's difficult for me because then every now and then I'm like, shit. I'm like trying to race home from the gym. I'm like, oh my god, I'm running out of time. And then one day where I came down here and it was like sweating my ass off because I was running around. I was like, ugh. So we will lock this one up, and like I do at the end of all of these particular episodes, number one, I have to finish my drink, but that's easy because I'm a pro drinker at this point. No, I don't know what that says about me, but we'll go ahead and finish this off with some more tunes by the old Dean Lo-Fi. So we'll have a little bit of music here, and we will move on over to our farewell screen. You have any parting words you'd like to say?
No, just everyone stay safe and stay warm out there, really.
Stay safe, keep the faith, and all that good shit. And until
Yeah, that
next
too.
time, so we will send everyone else over in a raid here. Thank you so much, everyone who stopped by. Hail Villainous, Black Cat's Poppy, Wild Bill Flint, Boston Actress, Potato Can Play, Mama B365, Tuna. Who else was in here? I think that's it. Did I miss anybody? I don't think I missed anybody.
Did you get Monkey Nips?
Monkey Nips was here. Don't forget Monkey Nips. Monkey Nips. All right, who's over here in live that we should raid through? I know. Let's go say hello to the Michael thing. He's super cool, and hopefully you can ask to see his cat Booba. He has this adorable kitty cat named Booba, and he wears these really cool neon glasses. So let's go raid over to the Michael thing, say hello to him. So once again, everybody out there, thank you so much for stopping by. I really can't thank you enough for that, and thank you so much for the subscriptions. So, raiding on over. Good night, everybody.